Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dajia How and Namaste to everyone. Let's start with this presentation on the topic of our research, which is related to the challenges of interracial marriages among Malaysian couples. This presentation is prepared by myself, Hassan Asim, and my group members, which are Dofar Rahim, Abid, Longhui, and Yang Bawan. Let's move towards the table of contents. I will start with this presentation by giving a brief introduction, followed by the research objectives for this qualitative study. After that, we will go one by one in detail, discussing the categories of the questions for the interview, uh, followed by the demography of the participants that we interviewed, and we'll try to combine all the research findings, and at last we will try to come up with a conclusion. Let's start with the with the introduction. So first of all, what are interracial marriages? Interracial marriages refer to legally or socially recognized unions between individuals of different racial or ethnic backgrounds. These marriages cross the boundaries of race or ethnicity, challenging cultural, societal, or traditional norms associated with identity, heritage, and belonging. So the research objective for this qualitative study is to explore the challenges faced in the interethnic marriages by the Malaysian couples. So what are the interview questions? Interview question categories. Upon going towards through the literature review, the challenges that are categorized are in the following categories. So there are 7 categories of the challenges, which are religious, social, legal, cultural, political, economical, and psychological. We will go one by one in detail when doing the research findings. Let's discuss the demography of the participants. So there were 4 participants that were interviewed. The first one was Arham. He was a Tamil Indian and he was married to a Malay Muslim. The religion of both the partners were Islam. The second participant was Karim. He was a Pakistani Pathan and he married to a Malay Muslim. Again, the religion of both the participants was Islam. The third participant in the interview was uh, Chinese. He married a Tamil Indian. So in this case, the religion of Terence was Buddhism, while his partner was Hindu. And the last participant in the interview, her name is Lin. She belonged to a Han Chinese ethnic group, and her partner was Malay Muslim. Uh, in this case, Lin had to convert to Islam to legalize their marriage. So let's discuss the research findings that we have interviewed with our participants. The first category is related to the religious challenges. The question asked from the participants was, how do you overcome religious differences as a couple? Since Arham and Karim are both Muslims and their partners were also Muslims, so like they didn't face much of the religious differences, except for that in Ramadan practices. But they tried to communicate with their partner and compromised to blend their traditions and cultural celebrations. Terrence's response was like that in the first they had trouble with the fasting, pujas, and dietary choices, which initially caused arguments. Over time, they found compromises and tried to participate in each other's rituals out of respect and acknowledging each other's practices. That created mutual understanding. Lynn responded the same question like as she was a non-Muslim in the before marriage, but then she had to convert to Muslim to legalize their marriage. So, like this compromise had strengthened their bond. The next question asked was related to religious diversity and community dynamics. Since Arham and Karim, they both were Muslims and their partners were also Muslims, so like the community and the friends, they were tried to, they were soft towards them. But again, like they passed some gossips or negative comments, but over time, their perspective it changed. Parents responded it like family expectations were a major challenge because like his partner was Hindu, so there was a lot of pressure on him. But over time, they tried to uh, change the perspective of the people. Since Lynn was converted to a Muslim, so eventually that eased the tensions for her and aligned the expectations of their families maintaining their cultural identity. The third question asked was related to the managing religious differences in decision making. Uh, as again the religion of Aram and his partner and Karim and his partner, they both were same, so they didn't face any difficulty in the religious differences, so it was quite easy to do the decision making. The both couples, they followed Islamic principles while respecting each other's cultures. Terence responded the same question as religion influenced decisions like naming their kids and celebrating festivals. So they both agreed to follow the Hindu customs and also the Buddhist cultures. They tried to name their first child as the first name was Tamil name and the second one was Chinese one. So they tried to compromise on it. Lynn responded the same question as uh, religion influenced decisions like raising their children and celebrating milestones, but as she was converted to a Muslim, mm, she also tried to teach their children Chinese cultural heritage. They tried to communicate with each other, which reduced the differences, and the decisions taking were then easy. The next category is related to the social challenges. The question asked from the participants was related to the societal attitudes and relationship challenges towards those societal attitudes. Uh, Arham stated that societal attitudes like stereotypes about their interracial marriages were quite challenging. Some people, they tried to question the intentions and assume that cultural differences would make a big issue. So they tried to tackle them by staying united and prove them wrong in the end. Over time, their families and friends supported that helped them to counter the negativity from outsiders. Karim responded the same question as people often assume that he married his partner for citizenship or financial gain, and that was hurtful. Karim stated that his partner's family they also criticized for marrying outside of their own, but they both ignore most of it and try to stay united. Terence responded it uh, like people assumed that they both were quite different because of their religions, so they tried to ignore the negativity and focus on proving them wrong by staying together. The fourth participant Lynn responded about the societal stereotypes, like they made assumptions about the ability to integrate in the Malay culture. So she addressed this by showing mutual respect and actively participating in the each other's environments, breaking down the misconceptions through their actions. The second question was related to the friendships and societal dynamics in the relationships. Arham and Karim both stated that the people, they try to make ignorant jokes and try to criticize their relations based on the cultural differences. But with over time, they the both couples, they try to communicate with each other, and with peace and harmony, they created respect and expect and acceptance in the society. Terence responded to the same question as his friends were supportive, but some colleagues, they passed ignorant remarks. So they handled it by openly showing respect to each other, which usually ends the awkwardness. Lynn also replied by the same, like most of the friends and colleagues, they were supportive, but there were also judgmental comments, especially about their decision to convert to Islam. So she handled by focusing on the positive aspects of their relationship, explaining their choices when needed and avoiding unnecessary confrontation. The next questions that were asked were related to the legal challenges. Question related to the impact of nationality and legal requirements were asked from Arham and Kareem. So they responded it like Arham said that since he is an Indian and his partner Zorin was Malaysian, so he stated that the marriage registration process involved extra paperwork, including visa requirements and proving his residency status. So he overcame this by seeking guidance from religious and legal authorities to ensure that all documents complied with Malaysian law. Kareem also stated that the legal process was overwhelming and endless paperwork, visa requirements and approval from religious authority was required. So it delayed his marriage for months by adding unnecessary stress. Terence responded the same question by stating that marrying across religions in Malaysia was tougher due to unclear laws. His wife had to convert to Buddhism for the marriage to be registered, which was a huge sacrifice. Lynn stated that since she was converted to Muslim, so that kind of eased their process, but still, like they required a lot of procedures for marriage to be registered under Islamic law. The next question was asked related to inheritance, property, and children rights issues. Arham stated that since as their marriage was legally recognized in Malaysia, but there were complexities in inheritance and property ownership as he was a foreigner. So they registered their daughter as a Malaysian citizen, but still cross-border issues that arrived required legal steps. Kareem stated that he had also faced problems related to the property ownership and inheritance laws. So as a foreigner, he had to double check with everything. Terence responded to the same question by stating that legal recognition was a hassle for him, and also inheritance and ensuring their kids being treated equally was a big concern for them. Lin replied by saying that the legal recognition of their marriage was straightforward after her conversion to Islam, but still she had to take extra steps to ensure clarity regarding inheritance and property laws. The next set of questions were related to the cultural challenges. The question asked was related to the managing cultural diversity in relationships. Arham stated that they handle differences in their relationship by being flexible and open-minded. Like in the holidays or family events, they try to combine the customs of both the sides. So communication is the key. Kareem also stated that we try to alternate between uh, her family, her family's customs and his own. Though it's not easy, both the sides have strong opinions and he is often caught in the middle. Terence stated that he tried to compromise by respecting key traditions and skipping those that feel overwhelming. So communication is again the key in this case. Lynn stated that she handled differences by embracing both the cultures with their partner. For example, weddings and festivals, they tried to combine Chinese traditions like tea ceremonies with the Malay customs such as wearing traditional attires and hosting a Kanduri feast. This allows honor to both the families. The next question they asked from the participants was related to the cultural misunderstandings in the relationships. Arham stated that cultural misunderstandings were faced regarding wedding traditions because his family expected a traditional South Indian celebration while his partner's family had their own Malaysian practices. So after confusion, they explained each other's cultural expectations and combined elements from both the traditions, ensuring everyone felt respected and included. Kareem stated the same question like his partner's family initially thought he was not serious about the marriage because he didn't follow their traditional courtship style. Uh, Karim's family, on the other hand, didn't understand why his partner's relatives were so formal. So there was a big gap in the cultural misunderstanding. Terence responded that his family Terence responded that her family once thought that he wasn't serious about the customs after he mispronounced the Tamil prayer, so he had to apologize. Lynn also responded that there was some initial misunderstandings arose, but they tried to communicate with each other and tried to participate with mutual respect and understanding. The next question was related to the cultural fusion in food, language, and practices. Arham stated that he tried to balance the cultural backgrounds by incorporating both the South Indian and Malay traditions into their daily life. They also tried to enjoy both the mixed cuisines of Malay and Indian dishes. Karim also stated something like similar, like his partner tried spicy Malaysian dishes while he misses Pakistani biryani. So they tried to cook together to give an essence of both the cultures. Terence stated that they also try Tamil food and the Chinese the next day. So they try both the languages at home and celebrate festivals from both the cultures. Lynn also stated somewhat similar, like they try to enjoy both the festivals and dishes. The next category is related to the political challenges. Question asked from the participants was political representation of ethnic minorities in Malaysia. So Arham stated that policies often prioritize the Malay majority, but they neglect the interracial couples, especially with housing and education quotas. Karim stated that representation feels lacking, so there isn't any representation for the interracial couples, and they aren't any discussed on the media also. Terence stated that interracial couples are often sidelines in political discussions. It's like an us versus them mentality, and his experiences aren't reflected in policies, which is frustrating. Lynn stated that while there has been progress, but the interracial couples are still underrepresented politically and socially. The next question was related to managing political disagreements in the relationship. Aram and Karim stated that they try to avoid political debates, especially on sensitive issues like affirmative action policies. So that way, with the harmony and agreement, they try to have focus on the shared values. Terence stated that politics can be tricky, so he tried to respect his partner's decisions and focus on the bigger picture. Lynn also stated that they do have different perspectives due to their backgrounds, but they try to prioritize common goals for their family's benefit. Uh, Upon asking about the media representation of the interracial relationships, they both stated that the media highlights interracial couples in a romantic way, uh, but they try to ignore the real challenges, which is frustrating. Terence and Lynn's answers were also somewhat similar, that the media romanticizes the relationships. Next is the next category is related to the economical challenges. So upon asking about the financial challenges of interracial couples in Malaysia, Raham stated that the primary issue was related because of the ethnic considerations. Like sometimes they aren't allotted a house or loan, so that can be problematic. Karim also stated somewhat similar answer, that getting a housing was tough, especially when people come to know that he was a Pakistani, so they tried, so the landlords, they tried to increase the rent. Terence and Lynn also had the similar answers, but they don't had any difficulties regarding a loan or extra scrutiny regarding the interracial couples, because like they have the proactive, and they are being proactive and provide all the necessary documentations. Upon asking about the balancing tradition and financial resources, all the four participants, they were of the same view, that they try with the communication, that they try to be careful when planning the weddings. or the festivals they created together. The last category is related to the psychological challenges. The question asked from the participants was related to the impact of extra judgment on mental well-being. Arham and Karim, they both stated that the judgment takes a toll at some times, like they can be felt frustrating, but with the supportive circle of friends and families, they try to cope up with the facing challenges, and they try to stay positive in the relationship. Terence and Lynn, they also had the same answer, there was some sort of mental stress because of the people's judgment. So regular conversations with their partner feels helpful in process any negative encounter. The last question asked from the participants was related to the coping with the societal acceptance and identity issues. Arham and Karim, they both stated that they talk with their partner a lot on this issue, and whether they have children or they have planned any children in the future. So they will try to foster the pride in both cultures and teach their children both the languages and encourage her to embrace both sides of the heritage, like both the Malaysian and their own culture. So Terence and Lynn also stated the same answers, like if they have children or they will have children in the future, so they will try to teach them both the languages, like the Chinese also and the Indian language or the Malay language also. So coming towards the conclusion, it can be stated that interracial marriages in Malaysia highlights the beauty of the cultural diversity and the challenges that arise from blending different traditions, values, and societal expectations. Couples navigate obstacles such as cultural misunderstandings, family resistance, and societal stereotypes, which do test their resilience and commitment. Despite these challenges, many couples find strength in mutual respect, open communication, and shared goals, paving the way of greater acceptance and inclusivity. Their experiences emphasize the need for a more understanding and supportive society where love and unity transcend racial and cultural boundaries.